Hello people, and welcome to another video. Thank you very much for tuning in. Now, I'm going to do a product or products review, and since I spent some time working in the jewellery sector for Half Price Jewellers and H. Samuel, I decided to do it on watches and my knowledge of watches, and this is how you tell good quality from the bad. Okay. Now, the very first watch I had, okay, it was an Ingersoll. Yeah, an Ingersoll watch, and I was in primary school. And I've actually only owned about 8 watches, and a few other bits and pieces of jewellery and things like that. I'm not a huge jewellery buyer. I'm not a huge watch connoisseur buyer or anything like that. This is just my 2 pennyworth, my knowledge of the jewellery sector, and hopefully I can steer you in the right direction of how to avoid a low quality watch. Okay. Low quality watches will feel low quality. You don't have to be an expert to know that something's of low quality. You will need some knowledge when you go into the more expensive models, ranges, that kind of thing. You know, the Hugo Bosses, the GC, the Cartiers, the Rados, and there are even more expensive watches than that. Yeah, so yeah, I started off with this Ingersoll thing, and you know, when you're that age, you think everything's wonderful, you know, and because you don't know anything yet. And then I think my next watch after the Ingersoll was a Timex, and Timex are still going today. And I had a look on their website actually, and some of the watches are quite nice. It's just I just don't think that Timex is really a fashionable brand anymore. And although some of the watches on their website look quite nice, actually, they do. No, they do. They are quite nice, some of them. But I just wouldn't opt for a Timex watch on my wrist. That's just me. That's just my own personal wants, and you know, just how I feel about certain things in life. You know, doesn't mean to say that I'm wrong, but you know, some people, they might rave about Timex. You know, and you know, yeah, great, if Timex watch on your wrist makes you happy, fine, absolutely fine. I then moved onto digital watches because I was at the age when you're in school, you know, you're like 11 years of age, you just started in the first year and all of that. Remember those days, people? And then you're into things digital, you know, you've got to have the digital watch, you know, it looks so cool on your wrist, you know, it's digital, it's quartz, you know, and, you know, but at the end of the day, these things were pieces of crap, yeah. You know, they were like, so you can pick them up for like, you know, 30 quid and sort of things like that. You know, I mean, there was a couple of different types that you could have. I think Casio was the main brand that you had to have on your wrist. You know, a Casio. You know, you had a Casio. You know, you were the dog's bollocks. Okay. And you know, it's like everything else. You know, you know, you either had to have a pair of Reeboks or a pair of Nikes. Yeah. And if you didn't, you were some kind of outcast. You know. But yeah, so I had this Casio watch thing on my wrist. You know, it's a black plastic Casio watch. You know, you had an alarm on it and things like that. You know, sometimes you could have sort of 10 different alarms on there and all this kind of stuff, and a stopwatch. What the bleeding hell would you want a stopwatch for Christ's sake, you know? But anyway. I've got to have it. I've got to have it. It's got a stopwatch on it. Has it really? Yeah. I've got to have it. It's a piece of crap. I know. I don't care, but I've just got to have it. You know, so you end up buying this piece of, you end up begging your parents, for this watch, and you get the watch, and then you just realise that someone else has got something better than you anyway. So you just realise you wasted tons of time, begging your parents for that one, when it was really the next one you should have had. School days, huh? So then I didn't wear a watch for many, many years until I was in the workplace. I was working for Olympus Sport all them years ago, and I decided, do you know what? I need a flaming watch on my wrist, and I need a ring as well. So I went out in the lunch hour and I bought this watch. I went into, I think it was, was it Ratner's? I really can't remember. It might have been H. Samuel or Ernest Jones or something, I don't know. Could well have been H. Samuel. And I worked for them as well. So I came back with this, and it was quite a nice little watch. I paid like 70 quid for it or something. And it lasted me about a year. And then the battery went dead. And I just couldn't be bothered to replace the battery. There you go. And then I think, I can't remember whether I had another watch immediately after that. I really can't remember. I probably did. I just can't remember what the bleeding hell it was. But it would have been something of low quality. And usually, around the 50, 60 quid range, you've got to be careful what you buy. Because I ended up with this, and it ain't good. This was actually a present from a family member, so I'm not going to slate it too much. I mean, I guess for what it cost, it's okay, but you can just tell immediately that the quality, it's not there. Usually you can just feel by rubbing your fingers up and down the bracelet part here and the clasp and all that kind of thing. This just isn't quality, alright? You can just tell. Rattly as hell. You can just tell. It's just not quality. I mean, we've got a rotating bezel, and I can tell just by rotating that around, just the sound of the clicking of the bezel just tells me that it's not quality. And if I rotate it slot by slot, I can tell by the stiffness of the clicking, the bezel, and it's just not quality. That probably cost about 40 quid, 50 quid, something around that price range. And for that sort of money, you can get something far superior than that these days. Even a Timex would be better on your wrist than that. I mean, okay. I mean, I don't suppose it's not a hideous watch. It worked and all of that. I think I wore it a couple of times, but it just wasn't for me. So that's that one there. Don't ask me what brand it is. I haven't got a clue. The writing's too small. And then I ended up with this. I was about 25, 26 years of age, something like that, and I was wearing this. Now this was sold to me as a guess, Guess, right, by the stupid sales assistant that was in there. But this is actually a GC. Now GC and Guess, as far as I'm aware, are two completely different watch brands, manufacturers. Okay. And you can always tell the manufacturer. It'll be well, certainly the quality manufacturers. It will be on the front, and it will also be on the back as well. Like so. Again, a very smooth feel to the strap there, the bracelet strap as it's known. Quite smooth, quite chunky, a much heavier metal involved in the manufacturing of this watch, the production of it, and not a bad little winder. There is some quality there, and that was £120. That I think that was from H. Samuel. That one. Yeah, I couldn't be bothered to argue the toss over what brand it was that I ordered and all of that kind of thing. But GC, I'm glad I never took it back. I suppose I could have done, but GC, yeah, quite nice. Quite a nice little watch. Yeah, that's good quality. I mean, I would still wear that today. I mean, this is probably about. Oh yeah, I'd say that's a good sort of 19, 18, sort of 20 years old, that one. But you know, I would still wear that today. I would, you know, because I wouldn't be worried about anything happening to it. It's such an old watch, I wouldn't worry about it at all. So there you go. But that is a quality watch. GC, they do make really cool watches. You know, I thoroughly recommend that. I do. GC, very smart. Then I didn't bother with a watch after that for quite a few years because I had my mobile phones, and well, you know, you got the time on there, right? So you know, why do you need a watch? But I don't know, for some reason, a few years later, I just wanted a watch. I had about 30 grand odd in the bank, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to treat myself to a nice watch. So I went to, what was it? I can't remember where I bought it from. One of the quality watch retailers, and I mean a real quality watch retailer. And I purchased this. The guy said, "What are you looking to spend? What sort of quality are you after?" And I said, "Well, I was thinking about Hugo Boss." And he said, "Oh yeah, they make good watches, they do." So I thought, right, okay, all right, because I wasn't too sure about Hugo Boss. I mean, they never struck me as a watch manufacturer like I don't know, Seconda or Seiko or something, you know. I mean, not that Seconda and Seiko are high-end watches, because, you know, they're not, but they've always been around, you know what I mean, and they're highly established, and, you know, I've noticed other manufacturers like Tissot and DKNY, but DKNY was a little bit too youthful for me, you know what I mean? So I looked at Tissot, and I knew they were a Swiss manufacturer, and I knew that it was going to be a quality, but I was just swayed by Hugo Boss for some reason, maybe because they made good quality suits. Yeah, so I thought, well, okay, you know, let's try Hugo Boss. I mean, surely I can't go wrong with a Hugo Boss, you know. And guys sold me that, and that was 200. Mm-hmm. And no, very, very nice. And there we go. It's a genuine Hugo Boss, that one. And this was $199, and it's very, very nice, smooth feel to it. That's a very, very good way you can tell the quality of something. Very nice, nicely made. You can tell that just by the feel of it. Not much rattle there. It's another good sign. And quite chunky, but not overly chunky, not too big. And you know, fits quite nicely on the wrist. Doesn't look too bad. I might as well put it on, I suppose. There you go. And it's not too chunky on the wrist. It's okay. It fits quite nicely. It's alright, I can get away with that. And I thought, yeah, I'll have that. It was $1.99. And yeah, I'm very, very impressed with that and the GC. So, but both watches are quite old. This one's about 8 years old, 7.5, 8 years old, that one. But I'm going to get a battery put in now. It's going to cost me like 50 quid to have that done, because it's got to be sent away. All of these kind of watches, because they're waterproof. Both these watches, the GC and the Hugo Boss, are waterproof or water resistant. They have to be sent away by security and like secure package and that, because they have to be opened up professionally, battery inputted, and then resealed. Actually resealed. Yeah, so very, very cool watches. I do recommend GC and Hugo Boss. Very, very class watches. Great quality at a low cost, at a low price. And believe me, 200 quid is quite a low price for a watch. Even when you got 30k in the bank, like I did. And because I was looking at possibly spending like a couple of grand on a watch, and as my sister said to me, why don't you buy a Cartier? And I thought, well, you know, I mean, I could afford it, but I don't know, I would just feel a little bit guilty if I could go out and I could afford to buy a £5,000 watch. And because I would be sitting there with this thing on my wrist, and I would be thinking, you know, 5 grand, that could be like a quarter of someone's salary. You know what I mean? And I've just gone out and purchased this watch because I can afford to do it. And I don't know if I could justify 5 grand on a watch. You know, even though you can buy watches for like 100 grand and all of that. So, oh God, you know, I mean, you know, we're talking like half the price of someone's house for a Rolex, you know, a diamond encrusted Rolex, which would probably cost you about 80 grand. Yeah, I would definitely feel a little bit guilty. But then again, I could probably go out and spend like 2 grand on a watch, probably without feeling too guilty about it. Isn't it strange that when something jumps in price to such a level, then you start feeling really guilty about it? But I don't know. I mean, that's just me anyway. But look, I'm going to leave it there, people. Okay. Thank you very much for tuning in to my very honest review of these two watch manufacturers, GC and Hugo Boss. Whether I'll opt for another Hugo Boss again, I don't know. I think I'll just get a battery put in this one and just wear it for another like 12 months or something. I don't know. And then because I was looking at getting a GC, and there is one out there. It's a bracelet watch again. It's got a blue face to it with a bezel, and I think it's a chronograph, and it's about 600 quid. So I'd be interested to see, you know, if I do opt for it, the difference between this at 200 and the GC at 600, and if I opt for it, I'll do a review and I'll let you know my feelings on the difference in quality. Okay, so I don't know what model this number is. Maybe somebody out there knows what model it is, and they can drop a comment and let me know which model that is, because I've been searching for it on the web and I can't find it. But you know, the watch is like 7 years old, so maybe I don't know whether this is now a discontinued model. I mean, I don't know whether to just opt for a brand new watch, because, but you know, I mean, it's going to cost me 50 quid to get a new battery in there, just a battery, just so I can wear the thing again. When for like another 150 or something, I can just buy a brand new watch with a 2-year battery in it. So yeah, it just gets a little bit crazy, the battery pricing. But you know, these are water resistant watches, and they have to be sent away, and the thing's got to be opened up professionally and then resealed and all of that sort of thing. As you say, it's still a really, really good quality watch. So I don't know, I'll have to think about that for a while, whether I'll go out and I'll buy a new watch or not. I might not. I might wear it, get another year out of this, you know, and then, you know, just not wear it again. But anyway. So yeah, I do thoroughly recommend the Hugo Boss. They are cool watches, people. They're very, very cool. Very, very good. GC, I like GC as well. I'm very impressed by GC. I don't think I'll buy another Casio again. They're really for boys. You know, it's really a boy's watch, a young boy's watch, and you know, when you're at school and that sort of thing, you know. Although I don't know, times are changing. I mean, it used to, but when I was in school, it used to be. Actually, I'm going to do another video about that. Scrub that. I'm going to do a video about my school days and the things that I got up to and stuff like that. So I'm going to do that. So stay tuned for that, okay? Because it's coming and it's going to be good. It's going to be entertaining. And you're going to hear about some of the things I got up to. Not all of them, but some of them, okay? So stay tuned for that one. Okay. Thanks very much, and I would appreciate it if the not so many thousands of people that are going to be watching this video, if you could leave a subscribe, if you could subscribe, and you know, maybe leave a comment or something, that'd be great. I could do with it. You know, I've only got a couple of subscribers. I'm not feeling too great about this. So, you know, if you want me to keep on entertaining you, subscribe to me. Okay, thanks very much. This is the Domain Man signing out. Cheers. Next time.